How you guys doing? It's Mike the Star Turtle. This is my review for Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 2, Home. So yeah, this is a much better episode than the premiere, I gotta say. I mean, a lot of cool things happened. We got to see big giant dudes crush the hell out of certain people. We finally got to check in with Bran again for the first time in a while. We got to check in with the Greyjoys of the Iron Islands for the first time in a while. Got a couple of major deaths. Oh yeah, Jon Snow lives! I had a feeling that was going to happen. I mean, I didn't know for sure. Didn't want to get my hopes up too high, but just about everybody knew it was probably going to happen. But I don't think anybody was expecting it to happen this quickly. Like I thought it was going to happen, but at the very least put down until about halfway through the season, possibly not until like the season finale or episode 9 or something like that. But episode 2. Now it remains to be seen whether or not Jon will be entirely himself. I mean, it doesn't look like he's any different, but then again, all we did was see him gasping for air. Not exactly a sign of his character, but we'll just have to see. But everything leading up to that in Castle Black was pretty awesome. We finally got to see Davos say that line from the trailers about not being a very good fighter and apologizing for what everyone in the room was about to see, which we actually never did get to see, because Tormont and Ed and Wan all the wildlings just stormed the place. Apparently, even though they knew the wildlings were on the other side of the wall already, they didn't just think to post any sentries to warn anybody. Like, because I know there is another horn that's down there. Remember, we saw that in Watch It on the Wall. There's another horn down there in case they're attacked from the south side. And again, wildlings are already on the side. They know the other wildlings on the side. The fact they had no sentry there. I mean, just like somebody sounding the horn like twice, blow the horns twice for wildlings. Then breathe before he got an arrow, then just fell off the thing and onto the courtyard. That would have been fine. They couldn't. I wish they had done that, but we did at least get to see Wan literally just throw a guy onto the wall and then just that was awesome. But most of the other Night's Watch just gave up without a fight. Only like 2 guys. One guy I just mentioned with Wan and another guy killed by Tormund who was foolish enough to charge. Ollie was foolish enough to charge too, but then again I guess he was the only guy with balls. It's debatable. Some people think he was the only guy with balls. Some people think he was an idiot, though he already is an idiot either way. But yeah, none of the other guys were dumb enough to die, especially under fucking Alistair's orders. Plus, remember, most of them are rapists and thieves and murderers anyway, so none of them want to die. Unless if they get help. And Melisandre is probably just asleep through all this. And certainly looking a lot better now. When we finally do see her awake, she's back to her old self. I.e. the necklace is still on. And Davos still does not know what happened to Shireen. But at this point, even he's like, yeah, we need Jon Snow here with us. So whatever you can do, just resurrect. Just try to resurrect. It's worth a try. Even if you don't believe anymore. Like, I mean, I don't believe in all that Lord of Light bullshit or any of the religion bullshit, but I've seen you do some pretty impressive shit, so just try. What harm could there be in that? So she does. Oh, I did love Tormund's little comment about Jon taking all those knives, because Jon is a tough son of a bitch. Yeah, so she says all those prayers, she washes his hair, and cuts a little bit of his hair and throws it in the fire, because all that blood magic stuff that you need to burn things, because it's fire blood magic. She only cut a little bit of his hair, though. I expect her to give him a full haircut, so we would explain why Kit Harington's hair is straight. I guess he's going to wear a wig for the foreseeable future. Maybe he'll cut his hair himself, kind of like Max Payne did in Max Payne 3, if you ever played that game. After all the shit he's been through, he just needs control over something, so he decides to just cut all his hair off. Either that or they're just going to wear a wig the whole time. But looking back, you can definitely tell it's a wig, because his hair is usually more curly. But yeah, so he's alive. But it didn't happen until after everyone walked out of the room, and then all of a sudden ghosts stirred. First, because he'd been asleep most of the time, and all of a sudden he's awake, and then so is Jon Snow. Looking forward to seeing what everyone's reaction is going to be. But also, I'm still not entirely convinced, at the very least, that they might end up killing him off at the very end of this season, this time for good. So we'll see. But anyway, enough about Castle Black. So finally, after over a season, we finally get to check in with Bran. He's still in underneath the tree of life with Mira. Not Mira Forrester. I totally forgot the Jojen's sister, whose name was also Mira. Mira Forrester from the Game of Thrones Telltale game. But But she's still mourning the loss of her brother, even though it's been a year. Although it doesn't feel like it's been. It feels like it's been a while, but it doesn't quite feel like a year. I'm not sure how she didn't go out of. She wasn't bored out of her mind. Which is probably why she was out of there in the first place. I'm like, at least you're getting badass visions and seeing into the past. I'm just sitting here in this claustrophobic, dark space for like a year. I'm gonna go fucking crazy. So yeah, forgive me if I decide to go sit outside, even if it is dangerous. I don't really give a shit. It's like Tyrion in that Ferris's wheelhouse last season. He just couldn't stay there anymore, and that was less than a year. But yeah, we got to see young Ned and young Benjen and what appears to be their older brother, who Dany's father burned alive. Oh no, sorry, the father that he burned alive. The older brother that he strangled, trying to save his father. And we finally got to see Lyanna, the famous Lyanna Stark, that Rhaegar was totally willing to allow a whole fucking war to start that tore the whole Seven Kingdoms apart because he loved her so much. Because it has been hinted at this point that, yeah, he didn't abduct her. They loved each other, or at least he loved her. We don't know for sure the full details. I hope we can learn more about it with these visions the Brand's having. But yeah, Three-Eyed Raven, played by Max von Sydow, British actor who is, of course, he's British. Almost every actor's British. But he was that old guy in the beginning of the latest Star Wars movie, In the Force Awakens, before he got killed in that movie. But he's a good actor. I haven't really seen many movies with him, or maybe I haven't, and don't know it. But I definitely want to check out some more movies with him in it. But yeah, he definitely was not born in the tree. He was in a position very similar to Bran at one point, so he's trying to make sure Bran doesn't get too lost in his visions. It's like that mirror from Harry Potter, or the Nexus from Star Trek Generations, which is the one interesting thing about the Star Trek Generations movie. And a lot of people don't like the movie. It's not the best movie, but that was an interesting concept in there, the whole thing with the Nexus. But that same thing, you can get lost in these visions of the past of happier times. It's not. He hasn't the line from the trailer yet, which he hasn't said on the show yet. But the past is already written and the ink is dry. So, but I remember that line from the trailer. I'm sure he's gonna say it at some point. But even to this point, it still rings true. You gotta let go of the past, but it's still cool. It's cool for us seeing all those things, though. And we got to see the Child of the Forest. I believe Leaf, her name is, played by a different actress who reminds me of both the chicks, two of the chicks from Farscape. I forget their names. It's been a long time since I've watched that show, but her makeup, the way the actress's mannerisms, they reminded me of the chicks from Farscape. Like, I don't know if anybody else got that vibe, but it's the vibe I got. Anyway, back in King's Landing, Tommen is still a bitch, but he's trying. He's trying to be tougher, but yeah. But we finally got to see him and Jaime talk for the first time, I think, ever, at least on the show. How he wouldn't allow Cersei to attend Marcella's funeral, probably because he knew there would probably be shit because she wasn't allowed in the Septum, or whatever it's called, the Tub Temple. So he knew if she went there that she'd probably make a scene, or probably worse. So he did it for her own good. Even if she still probably should have been there, but I don't know. Let's see, Jaime and the High Sparrow confront each other for a bit. High Sparrow just pretty much saying to Jaime, "Yeah, go ahead and kill me. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of my guys here, but you'll be able to kill me before they get to you." And if Jaime still had both his arms, he probably could have taken all of them because none of them were the best fighters, and they were on but clubs. Though a few of them had nails in them. But with one arm, no, he wasn't going to be able to take on that many guys by himself. And I honestly think that the High Sparrow was making a point when he said, "Together we can overthrow an empire." I don't think he really meant he intends to seize the throne for himself or anything like that. I still believe that he generally cares about people. He cares about everyone. He's this religious fanatic. So he's still a very dangerous person. Remember, he's still one of the very few people in all of King's Landing who seems to give a shit about the little guy, about the small folk. Because the Lannisters certainly don't give a shit about that. And neither does the Tyrells. So, at the same time, he's still dangerous. I would not want him to be in charge of the United States. I don't want him to be president. But I do still think he's more honest than Ted Cruz. I think Ted Cruz is more dishonest than him. Sorry, real life politics, shouldn't be talking about that. But we also got to see Tommen reunite with his mother again for the first time in a while. And at first, she just can't look at him. Partially probably because she's angry with him. And also because she knows he's probably going to be dead soon because of the prophecy. But once he started like almost crying, she looked at him again. Partially because I think she obviously still loves him, but also partially because maybe she knows she can manipulate him now. I don't know. Again, I still think she does legitimately love him, but again, since she's also a very manipulative bitch, so not sure what will happen next. And also, he still intends to rescue Marjorie, Tommen. So I'm not sure if what Cersei thinks about that. Also, it was really fun to see the mountain or zombie mountain or Sir Robert Strong, whatever the hell he's called now, pretty much zombie mountain. Pretty much going around. Apparently, I'm not even entirely sure if he's under Cersei's orders or if he just is conditioned by Qyburn to his program to care about Cersei and care about defending her honor, as it's called. But just watching him just shove that guy against the wall, that was funny. And he still went out better than Oberyn. Oberyn still went out worse than that. At least it happens quickly for him, and he's drunk, so he probably didn't feel a thing. It's also very smart of Cersei to not sect the mountain on all those Lannister guards, because this is not the moment to be killing her own family's loyal bannermen. So smart on her part. Although I wonder if it hadn't been so quickly after what happened to her, I wonder if she'd been as quick to back down like that. I don't know. The North. Well, I gotta say, I was surprised. I should have seen it coming, but I didn't. I always knew it was a possibility that Ramsay might kill Roose, but I was kind of hoping it wouldn't happen. I was kind of hoping that Roose would die through other means, because Ramsay still does clearly love his father and respect his father and try to be like his father. And I honestly still think Roose does love Ramsay, even if he might have actually killed Ramsay at some point if it came to it. But I read an interview with both those actors, and neither of them seemed to think that was planned. That Ramsay just had made a spur of the moment decision the second he found out that the child was a boy, and that Ramsay probably would have killed him if he gotten the chance at some point. But he was. But I did remember a lot of people saw a lot of other reviews talking about this, but nobody else picked this up. But anybody else noticed that Ramsay couldn't bear to look his own father in the eye when he killed him? Because even still think he loves his father, and then even he realized, yeah, this is kind of fucked up what I'm doing. And it even took him a moment to like a brief second to recover. He's like, and he almost didn't catch how distraught the Maester was, and then made sure Maester repeat back what I just said. He died of poison. But we also see Lord Karlstark's son, Karl Stark, I think, yeah, the guy that Robb beheaded, which cost him a lot of his army, which forced him to try to lie with the Freys, which led to the Red Wedding back in season 3. And their family, they still don't give a shit about the Starks. But he was totally unfazed, even though he couldn't have been expecting it if it wasn't planned. But he was totally unfazed, maybe because he has no problems. Since Roose is the one, even though he didn't like Robb, Roose still betrayed his king. Because remember, a lot of people still don't like what Robert did and what Jaime did, killing the Mad King, even though he wasn't mad and should have died, and Robert usurping and taking the throne for himself. A lot of people still don't think that's good, because monarchy, you gotta obey the king, and even though the king was Targaryen took all the kings by force anyway. This is why the whole monarchy system is bullshit. But anyway, so we briefly got to touch base with Sansa and Pod and Brienne and Theon, and Brienne told Sansa about Arya, but did not tell her that there was the Hound that was with her. I mean, remember, Sansa does know the Hound. She was, because she interacted with a bit with him, on the second season. Remember, he saved her life. It would have been the second time she was raped at Ramsay's hands back in season 5 if it hadn't been for the Mountain. I mean the Hound. Shit, sorry. And remember, the Hound even offered to take her back, and she refused. And he was like, "Yeah, the world's built by killers. You better get used to looking at them." This was an awesome scene during the Battle of Blackwater. But anyway, finally get to see the Ironborn again. Balon Greyjoy's an asshole. Won't miss him. In fact, all the Ironborn are assholes. Fuck the Ironborn. They're a bunch of fucking pirates who pride themselves on raping people, and they pride themselves. They like to brag about how tough they are, but they only strike when when all the armies of the North are gone. And like when there's no massive armies to face them. Plus they also turn on each other on a moment's notice. Save their own skins. So yeah, fuck the Ironborn. I mean, Yara is a cool character, but even she's still. I just the fact she supports she was raised in it, so this is what she's all about. But fuck them. They're a whole kingdom of pirates essentially. That's what they are. I mean, I'd like to see a good sea battle and see them kick ass at sea. That would be cool to see. Didn't intend that pun right there. But it would be cool to see a nice big battle on the ocean, but I doubt it will ever happen. Because the Ironborn are the only people left with ships at this point. There's no reason to have a sea battle. And I don't think the White Walkers have any use for them. So, but yeah, so you got to see Euron Greyjoy. Euron Greyjoy certainly looks like an interesting character. Like, he looks badass and not entirely sane. But he killed Balon, but yet did not actually show himself right afterwards. So he'll probably show up to this King's Moot, and we'll see what happens. But seriously, fuck the Ironborn. Hope they all die pretty soon. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Theon said he was going to go home. He didn't want to be forgiven for all his sins. He didn't want to come go with him to Castle Black because he realizes he fucked up. He knows he fucked up bad. He's going to regret it for the rest of his life, assuming he doesn't just want to die. I think he probably wants. When he said to go home and they cut to the Iron Islands right afterwards, I don't know for sure if he intended to actually go home or if he didn't actually go back to Winterfell and have Ramsay finish him off, probably torture him to death first. But I don't know. But I highly doubt he's going to be alive at the end of this season, so we'll see what happens. But he's got no dick, so I don't think he can rule the Iron Islands because he can't produce any heirs. But it was cool to see that after everything they've been through together, just both suffering in Ramsay's hands, him and Sansa just developed a bond, and that she was sad to see him go. Even if she'd actually witnessed all the horrible shit he'd done firsthand, I don't know if she'd necessarily be like that. But anyway, wrapping up, probably the second best moment in the show. Oh, well, real quick, I forgot to mention the other part to the thing at Winterfell. Ramsay sicking his dogs on his stepmother and baby brother. Again, this is obviously the kind of stuff that Ramsay does, but I did notice there was a bit of hesitation when he about to stick the dogs on. Like whenever she actually gave her time to beg for a second before he instead of just sticking them on her right away. So even then, when the dogs first struck, and she died surprisingly quickly. I'm surprised. Like that. There's a couple of bites and boom, she's done. And I don't know if hopefully the baby didn't last much longer. But remember, there's a second where he looked away too for a second. Like even he realizes that that's his baby brother. He just fed to the dogs, and even he realized this is affecting me for me. But then he got it together and then watched the dogs feast on him. So I do think that even Ramsay at least knows this is a pretty fucked up achievement for him to do, because even if he hadn't done it, he's still an evil person. But even he realizes that being a Kingslayer, there's Kinslayer is no coming back from that. But that only child line was pretty badass. Like Joffrey was such a bitch that we hated him, but even though we kind of hate Ramsay, like he's just so awesome. Like the actor is just so awesome in the role, you kind of like him, which is. Even though he's fucked up a person as he is. But anyway, finally we got Tyrion and King's Landing. The little eunuch dwarf jokes between him and Varys in the small council. And then we got an awesome scene with him and the dragons. And Varys was like, yeah, I'm going to just stay over here. But Tyrion was able to apparently bond with the dragons and release them from their chains, at least. I don't know if they don't appear to still want to go anywhere, but at least he's kind of connecting with them a bit. And he just walked right out of there, and he was, yeah, Varys, next time I come up with an idea like this, just fuck me the fuck out, just seriously, because that was stupid. But it worked out, so can't complain. But that was an awesome scene. But alright, yeah, much better episode than the last season. Last episode. A lot of people are saying that this should have been the season premiere. I don't agree with that, because the last episode still felt like a new season. But it would be really cool if they released these two episodes back to back in 1 week as opposed to just spreading them out. But love word more, and likes, comment, subscribe, whatever, all that good stuff if you like this video. And I will see you guys next week. see the look on people's faces when Jon Snow walks out of that place and walks into the courtyard. That's gonna be cool to see.